Namaste. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Global Festival of Oneness, organized by Indica Center for Moksha Studies. My name is Anuradha, and I'm the host of this session. Let us start with a prayer. Sada Shiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. In today's session, we have with us Smriti Sharma talking about Adi Shankaracharya's spiritual vision of oneness and Ekatma Dham. Before we get on to the talk, I'd like to introduce the speaker. Smriti Sharma, a media postgraduate currently serving at the Department of Culture, Madhya Pradesh government as an assistant program officer for the Ekatma Dham initiative, has been a dedicated social worker and has devoted her career to understanding and advocating the traditional ways of life, particularly among tribal communities. In addition to her work with tribal communities, Smriti has also shared her knowledge and expertise in media research by teaching aspiring journalists, filmmakers, and communicators at Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism. As an independent researcher, Smriti focuses on sharing stories from the Bharatiya perspective and shedding light on the rich cultural heritage and diverse narratives of India. Her work aligns closely with the values and goals of initiatives like Ekatma Dham, which seek to promote global oneness, peace, and harmony. Welcome, Smriti ji.
Namaste. My humble pranams to everyone who's joined in, every Atman who right now I'm reaching. I would actually like to start my talk with a continuation of the prayer that we just did. So I would ask all of you to sort of close your eyes and just be in the glory of Sri Shankar Bhagavadpada. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. So, thank you so much for having me here. It would be my humble effort to bring in front of you this entire massive initiative. It is as massive and as mystical as the life of Sri Shankara. So I would be starting off. Yeah, so I'll briefly be touching upon this great unifier and this great mystic that we are here to celebrate, the global festival of oneness, because of whom we've time and again seen that the world celebrating him, his idea. I'll just move on to his life and his works directly. Sri Shankar, the name, he was born as Shankara. The name was given by his father and mother. And then later on, Shankara, when he met his Guru Govind Bhagavadpad, later became Shankara. And then he moved on to become Acharya Shankar. Acharya, the Acharya of 4 disciples that he initiated into. And then later, when he wrote those commentaries, those literal works, he became Bhagwan Bhashyakara. And later, the entire world sang in his glory, Shankaro Shankaraha Shakshat. So he actually was Shankara, the embodiment of Shiva, Sada Shiva himself. So I'll just take a moment to actually have a look at Shankara. The name was given by Shiva Guru and Aryamba, the parents of Shankara, and Sri Shankar Bhagavadpad by his Guru Sri Govind Bhagavadpad. Bhashyakara, because the commentaries that he wrote on Prasthana-traya and other literary contributions that he made. Later, Acharya Shankar, after initiating his first 4 disciples, Acharya Totak, Acharya Shureshwar, Acharya Padmapad, then Adi Shankaracharya for establishing 4 Amnai Pithas and coronating their Shankaracharyas. Later, the entire world sang in his glory, Shankaro Shankara Sakshat. Everyone believed, everyone looked at him as the incarnation of Sadashiva. And this great spiritual hero, this great spiritual luminary, Swami Vivekananda, he very, very rightly described him, and he said, "But India has to live, and the spirit of Lord descended again, and he declared, 'I'll come whenever virtue subsides,' came again. And this time the manifestation was in the south, and up rose that young Brahmin, of whom it has been declared that at the age of 16, he had completed all his writings. The marvelous boy, Shankaracharya, arose. The writing of this boy of 16 are the wordless of modern world, and so was the boy. And as we all know, rest is history. So why Shankara important? Who is Shankara? So I'll just quickly touch upon these 3 points, these three qualities. He had enormous qualities, but then this is my very humble effort to put him into these caveats, but I've nevertheless tried that. Shankara was considered the crowning jewel of Advaita Vedantic thought. Why? The glorious tradition that initiates right from Vedas to Advaitins of the contemporary era, Shankara emerged as the brightest star in the galaxy of this Upanishadic wisdom. He revealed that Advaita Vedanta Darshan is the ultimate essence of Vedic knowledge. He consolidated and systematized this knowledge tradition through his commentaries on Prasthana-traya and composition of Prakaran Granthas. So that's the reason in the entire line of the Vedantic thought, he's considered to be the crowning jewel of this thought. But this Mahamanav was not actually limited just to the literary contribution. He actually put that entire literature into practice by unifying the entire length and breadth of this great, vast land. He traveled the length and breadth of the land of Bharat, not even once or twice, but thrice, and established the pithas in all 4 corners of this land. He revived 4 dhams, Dwadash Jyotirlingas, and Shakti Pithas. Furthermore, to unify the people of this land, he revived the greatest gathering event of human history so far, the Kumbha congregation. How can we all forget about the Kumbha when we are talking about Shankara, his contribution and bringing up all people under one congregation and one humongous event in the human history. And third, the revivalist of Sanatan Dharma. He actually brought back the large population who moved away from the fold of Vedic Sanatan Dharma when various sect and belief systems were not in total alignment to the Vedas. He aligned them again just by the practice of Vada, debate. He reformed the malpractices and social evils that were prevalent in the society during his course of Digvijayam. Not only he revived the tirthas, the kshetras, but he actually not only he revived the tirthas for Vedic Sanatan Dharma, but he actually established, but he also reclaimed rituals, practices that were rooted in the Vedic Sanatan Dharma, for bringing all prominent sects centered upon different deities into single fold. He initiated the Panchayatan Puja Paddhati. So that was his greatest contribution. And not just rituals, not just literature. If you look to any place or any kshetra or any tirtha right now in the country, right from Jagannath to Srirangam to Pandharpur to any place in the east, the stotras, the beautiful renditions and the beautiful compositions of the stotras that are sing in the glory of the deities are all written by him. And that actually makes him an amazing, amazing poet also. Someone who understood the bhakti, the love, the divine love, and actually exhibited that in his writings. You look at any stotra that is written either for rivers, for trees, for any deity that we have, right from Narmada to Ganga, you have artis, you have stotras that are written by him. Yeah, so but after all of these great contributions, where are we wrong? Where is the world going wrong? And why we need Shankara today? I will just briefly touch upon a few points that I want to make, that why the wisdom and why there's a wisdom, why there's a need of this wisdom today, and why we all need to be Shankara. There has to be multi-million Shankaras to bring back the equilibrium in this world. Yeah, so the challenges faced by the world today, on the level of individuality, we have physical, psychological disorders, discrimination based upon race, language, caste, creed, and gender, discontentment, and disharmony. And on the societal level, we have hatred, conflicts, bigotry, violence, sectarianism, fanaticism, terrorism, and wars, economic disparities, crises. On the environmental or the ecological front, we have imbalances of the 5 great elements, that is space, air, water, and earth. There are conflicts, there are constant conflicts between man and nature and the wildlife. And furthermore, there are destructive developmental practices. There are practices that totally destroy the natural flow and the natural equilibrium of Mother Nature or Prakriti. So I'll move on, and yeah, so I'll just quickly touch upon the last point. Why do you think all these problems exist, and what is in the core of all these issues? The root cause of all these issues lies in experiencing duality. The duality that exists in all of us, that makes us discriminatory or having discriminations or distinctions from human to human or from nature and man. And how can we actually solve it? The solution is simple, but after a lot of work that is required: universal oneness. How can we achieve universal oneness on all these issues, and how universal oneness is actually a solution to all these problems? It's one single pointed solution for all these issues. On the individual level, if we experience the true nature of the self and giving up the limited identity of the body, mind, and intellect, if we give up the limited identity and we actually experience the true nature of the self, we can come out of those individual issues of discontentment, of unhappiness, of problems of relationships and families. And when we actually, the Vedas have very profoundly announced Aham Brahmasmi, when actually that happens on the experiential level, the problems related to these individual issues can actually be resolved. If we move on to the societal issues, how can we actually solve, how the universal oneness or the concepts of Advaita Vedanta are a guiding light to solve the social problems right now? By experiencing non-duality with all individuals on all the levels of their existence, realizing that we are the members of one single world family. The Vedas have brought it down in just 3 words. Look at the beauty of the Indian Vedantic and Vedic wisdom. Vishvam bhavati ekanidam. This is just amazing. I'm feeling very proud when I say this. Anywhere, any culture, any wisdom, any knowledge system, it's really amazing. Any knowledge system has not just put the entire societal solution in just 3 words. So this is just amazing for me to present it to you. If we talk about the environmental issues and how the idea of oneness can actually solve the ecological issues that we are facing right now, experiencing the non-duality of all living and non-living beings, realizing the oneness of individual self, the individual self that we just talked about in the beginning of this slide, and the entire cosmos, everything that's around this individual self. Once that oneness, that realization of oneness happens, you actually will stop looking at nature as a commodity or as something that's for your disposal or as something that's for your entertainment. And again, we have the Upanishads speaking to us, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. This is just very profound and very beautiful. And when we achieve oneness, or we achieve this idea, when we realize and experience this idea, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, we see Brahman, we experience Brahman in each and every single element around us. So now I'll move on to Adi Shankara's message of oneness. What exactly is Adi Shankara's message of oneness, and how Advaita Vedanta, and what is Advaita Vedanta? So he talks about ignorance, avidya, and he says that is the root cause of all human sufferings, which leads to the false identification of the self with the body and mind. Now, he very beautifully puts out jnana as the sadhan. One can transcend ignorance and realize their true nature as Brahman, Satchidanand, ever existent, conscious, and bliss. This precisely is his way of putting jnana in the center of everything we do. The philosophy of non-duality asserts that the absolute reality of all beings is one, without a second. There's no second. If there's no second, then there's no conflict, there are no fights, there is nothing. The individual self, jiva, is identical to manifested reality, jagat, and the ultimate reality, Ishvara. And realizing this oneness is self-realization. Moksha, the ultimate goal of human birth in the Hindu thought, in this Sanatan Vedic thought, moksha. So that's where he's taking us, the epitome of human birth. Yeah. So this was Adi Shankara's message of oneness. I would now take you to our journey of oneness. This was the reason, this philosophy, this message was so beautiful that we wanted to disseminate it to the entire world, announce and propound it to the entire world. So that's the reason we took this arduous journey, our journey of oneness, which actually started on February 9th, 2017, when the then Chief Minister announced the construction of a 108 feet tall statue of Acharya Shankar, a museum, and the Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta at Omkareshwar. On May 7th, the second step in this direction happened when it was announced that Shankar Jayanti will be celebrated in all 51 districts of Madhya Pradesh on Vaishakh Shukla Panchami. Then we moved on to December 19th, 2017, and we actually took out Ekatma Yatra. It's an amazing, arduous journey, just like the journey that Shankara took. It was called Ekatma Yatra. And we took this journey. Why? Because we wanted contribution from every single household. Because when Shankara did the Digvijayam, he actually touched upon so many people. He actually changed so many lives. We wanted the contribution and humble offerings from each and every single person, right from every community, every caste, every creed. That was his idea of all-pervading consciousness. So when he said all-pervading consciousness, we wanted people from all the communities to come forward and do this humble offering to pay homage to their Shankara. So Ekatma Yatra was actually conducted from 4 different places of Madhya Pradesh, and later all the places in the nation concluded it. Major places associated with Acharya Shankar's life. There were 10,000 kilometers of yatra in MP, in and around MP, and then 18,000 kilometers of yatra in the entire nation. And this happened in December 19, 2017. And what exactly was the purpose? The purpose was to collect metal and soil and water and different elements from different places that he touched upon during his Digvijayam, during his yatra, during his yatra that changed the course of history for us. So that was the idea. Next, on January 2022, when these entire yatras congregated, they concluded, we called it Ekatma Parv. Why Ekatma Parv? Because his idea was to have Ekatmata, to have oneness. So we observed it at Omkareshwar, and it marked the completion of Ekatma Yatra. Then moving forward, on January 27th, 2018, the Acharya Shankar Sanskritik Ekta Nyas was formally established. The aegis under which this entire initiative is running, that trust, that public trust, was actually formally established on January 27, 2018. Then moving on to the Advaita Utsav, we actually did a conference, an international conference, which celebrated the scholarly element, the scholarly thought behind Advaita Vedanta. And it was here at MP. It was at the Central University of Sagar, Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya. Then later, on June 4th, 2022, it was thought that the entire engineering, procurement, and construction for the Statue of Oneness, that marked the formal construction of this beautiful towering monument and embodiment that we see, that happened on June 4, 2022, and Larsen and Toubro was given the EPC. Later, in October 21, 2022, Dikshant Samaro, the first convocation of the Advaita Awakening Youth Retreat, took place. I'll be briefly touching upon this amazing initiative of Department of Culture that makes young Advaita ambassadors. So I'll be briefly touching upon it when I move on to this section. Then on April 25th, 2023, again we celebrated Ekatma Parv for the second time, and it's our ritual, it's our tradition, it has become our tradition that all the Advaita ambassadors in 1 year, they convocate on Ekatma Parv. They take their oath of oneness. They actually take this oath and try and practically implement Advaita Vedanta and the Upanishadic wisdom in their lives, whatever walks of life they are coming from. And then comes the historic September 21, 2023, when the statue of Oneness was unveiled at Omkareshwar. Omkareshwar, the Jnana Bhumi of Sri Bhagavadpad Adi Shankar. Now, this entire journey, the physical manifestation of this journey of oneness is Ekatma Dham, Global Center for Oneness. Ekatma Dham initiative at Omkareshwar is a landmark initiative by the government of Madhya Pradesh aimed at promoting the timeless philosophy of oneness of Acharya Shankar. This project signifies our dedication to harmonize cultural diversity and fostering universal peace, not just amongst human beings, but also sustainable coexistence with environment and nature. And that was our entire vision and mission, to have this amazing initiative in place. Yeah, so I'll just briefly touch upon the components or the three phases of this journey of oneness, the physical embodiment of the journey of oneness that Department of Culture and Acharya Shankar Sanskritik Ekta Nyas is taking. Component one is Statue of Oneness. Statue of Oneness is standing tall at 108 feet. The Statue of Oneness is in Omkareshwar. It's a multi-metal monument, and it's an embodiment, or it's a physical testament of spiritual enlightenment. How a Mahamanav actually walked this planet, and now we are paying our homage to him. So Statue of Oneness was our homage to the legacy of Sri Shankar Bhagavadpad. The component two of Ekatma Dham initiative is Advaita Loka. Advaita Lok is a museum that presents Sanatan Dharma, the concepts of sthiti, lay, and the concepts of Upanishadic concepts of the dissolution and construction and maintenance of the cosmos and other such features, and the life and works of Shankara and his philosophy. It has all components of light and water sound show, all virtual reality aided methods of showing what an amazing life and contribution Shankara made. So this will exhibit that. Now, just to honor the knowledge tradition, or the knowledge, the wisdom, the nectar of wisdom that he actually gave, he left for us, or he actually handed over us, we have the Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta. It's going to be a blend of modern technology and traditional wisdom, featuring state-of-the-art facilities and a distinctively indigenous ambience. It will serve as a premier body of collaboration in the field of global academics. So this is not just going to be a place to study, but to also collaborate on issues of global peace, global harmony, and how academics or the knowledge tradition of India can play an amazing pivotal role to bring that idea into action. Now, this is the master plan and the site location of the entire initiative. I'll quickly touch upon all the elements. I hope they're all visible to you. So as you see, this is the Statue of Oneness site and Acharya Shankar Museum, the Advaita Lok that we were talking about. Then we have the institute. So we have Advaita Lok and we have the institute across the amazing Ma Narmada flowing from the middle of both these places. But you see a very beautiful component here. It's called Shankar Bridge or Shankar Setu. Just like Shankara became the bridge to join all four corners from north to south, from east to west, we have named this Setu Shankar Setu. So he's going to join knowledge and action and everything in between. This amazing site you see, is at Omkareshwar. Why Omkareshwar was chosen as the place for this entire initiative is because whenever you become awakened, when you get a guru, when you get knowledge, that's your rebirth. That's you're born again. So Shankara was born here for the second time, I would say. So that's the reason we chose Omkareshwar as his Jnana Bhumi for this entire initiative. You see the Omkareshwar and Mamaleshwar Jyotirling. The statue here faces both these Tirtha Kshetras, as if he's trying to pay his homage and he's trying to do the darshanam of Sadashiv. So I'll quickly move upon to the land details and the utility of the entire master plan. The museum will encompass 11.56 hectares. The plantation and sculpture park will be 7 hectares. The museum parking would be 2.5 hectares. Advaita Vanam, amazing forest of perennial plants that are mentioned in Acharya's works here and there. We've tried to do a scholarly research on that and get those names of those perennial plants that he's mentioned across his literary contributions, and that those are the plants that we are trying to plant in the Advait Vanam. Then for the institute, we have 25.1 hectares for the project information center. And another very important feature of this entire initiative will have 1.5 hectares of land. Then we have training center, and then we have the plantation. There's a free area that we are trying to have trees. The total land that this entire initiative is going to encompass is 126.7 hectares, and there's the bifurcation of all these land details that you see. Now, this was about the master plan and the site location of the institute. I'll again move you to the journey part of it, to the most memorable part of this entire initiative, that is making Shankara. So it is a very beautiful story. I always feel very emotional when I tell this story. So the entire concept and the sketch, the first sketch that was to be made, that how Shankara will actually look, it was actually a treasure hunt for all of us. Why? Because there was no painting, or there was no physical painting or physical sketch that actually told us what he looked like, how he looked like. So we actually did a research of 1.5 years, wherein we tried having description, we tried having his description, his physical descriptions, and on the basis of that, Sri Vasudev Kamaji is a very renowned painter. He made those initial sketches. He actually locked himself up in a room for about 8 to 9 months, and he actually made Shankara. That's how Shankara came into being. Now we had the sketch in our hand, but then what we needed next was a sculptor, somebody who could actually bring Shankara into the form of a statue. So for that, we float a contest sort of a thing, and sculptors around the nation were called upon, and this initial sketch was delivered to them, and they were asked to make a prototype or a model Shankara for us. So we received a lot of different entries for it from nook and corner. Who would miss the opportunity of making Shankara? But then after a thorough scrutiny and levels of processes, we actually arrived upon Sri Bhagwan Rampureji, who's the sculptor of the statue of Oneness. And that's how Shankara came into being. So I'll just quickly run through the statue of Oneness and its most prominent features. From the base, the Paduka of Acharya, to the apex, the statue stands 108 feet tall. The pedestal is in the form of lotus, which has 18 petals in the bottom and then another 18 petals above it. And all of it, you will be amazed to know, is amazing stones of this nation, from right from Rajasthan to other places. The relief carving on the Shankar's thumb will showcase the scenes from the life of Acharya Shankar. So you see the pedestal that is starting right below the lotus is actually going to depict the life, 32 scenes and 32 experiences of his life, 32 stories, most prominent and life transformation experiences of Shankara's life. Then the illustrious features of statue of oneness. The height of the statue from top to bottom is 108 feet. The height of the pedestal, as I just mentioned, is 75 feet. The height of the lotus base is 16 feet. And the height of Shankar's thumb, the thumb that I was talking about, which will actually exhibit the life and experiences of Shankara, is 45 feet. From ground to top, it is 199 feet. And you'll be amazed to know that from the sea level, this entire statue, our Shankara, is 315 meters, which is taller than the Statue of Unity and Statue of Equality. The components or the materials that are used in the Statue of Oneness are stainless steel, 250 tons, and the design of this entire statue, this entire monument is more than 500 years. It's earthquake proof, it is natural calamities proof. Now, the facing that I just mentioned in the previous site location, that the facing of this statue is south. It faces south. It faces both the Jyotirlingas, and it has bronze alloy, and the components are copper, tin, lead. So it's a multi-metal monument, which was another very, very difficult task to achieve at this scale. Now, I would quickly run through the conceptual and the philosophical importance of the Statue of Oneness. It's a walking style statue. Why? Because Shankara was always on the go. He was always on the go to do the next good thing. So that's the reason we chose the walking style statue. And when he was leaving Omkareshwar, when he was leaving his Jnana Kshetra, he was leaving for Kashi. So that's the image that we had in mind, that we are going to make the statue on this image. So that's the reason we took the Prayan Mudra. And you'll be amazed to know that there's no statue in the world of a child. He was a 12 years old child, and the 108 feet tall statue of Oneness is actually of that 12-year-old child who left Omkareshwar after attaining self-realization, and then on the instruction, on the agya of his guru, he wanted to disseminate this entire knowledge to the world. Now, the conjunction of Narmada and Kaveri forms a unique shape of the island, which is known as Omkar Parvat. This is the Parvat, this is the mountain we chose for Shankara's seat and the other elements of Ekatma Dham. The statue is situated on the Omkar hillock, historically known as the Mandhata Hill, which houses both Omkareshwar Jyotirlinga and Guru Govind Bhagavadpad cave. Now I'll move on to the next component of this amazing initiative, which is called Advaita Lok. Now, Advaita Lok is an amazing structure that is going to be built by Bansi Paharpur stones. And it is going to have these components, which I'll be quickly running you through. The entrance plaza has Hansa Dwar, because Hamsa have a symbolic, intonation in the Hindu thought, in the philosophy. Then we have the Panchayatan temple. It is again made of pink stone of Bansi Paharpur. The style of the entire Advait Lok is going to be Nagar architectural style. And this particular temple that we are going to have at the Panchayatan space is going to be dedicated to the 5 deities, the puja paddhati that he actually established. So it's going to have that. Then we have galleries for which we've already commissioned painters and artists around this nation, right from Himachal's Kangra style to southern India's murals. We have all the artists from the nook and corner of this country. Then we have an amazing Nauka Bihar at the Advaita Lok, which is going to showcase the entire Narmada Parikrama, because Narmada played a very, very important role in Acharya Shankar's journey. So that's the reason we chose Narmada, and the entire physical and philosophical basis of this entire yatra is showcased in amazing virtual reality and amazing dioramas that we are going to do here. Then we have Dome Theatre, which will actually have the dissolution and the formation and the maintenance of the cosmos. Here we are going to show that. Then we have large format theatre, which is actually going to show the film that is under production on the life of Shankara, which is already scripted, with the production elements of which are already almost finalized. So we'll be seeing that, the short format of that long form film here at the large format theatre. Then we have Advaita Kalagram. So Advaita Kalagram is actually going to have traditional and regional handicrafts and handlooms of all the regions in this country. We are going to showcase those artists and the art of those people here at Kalagram. Then we have an amazing element which is called Nididhyasan Kendra. So it's a space for guided meditation, which will be by imbibing all these beautiful components that we just talked about. We'll be actually contemplating in this place of Nididhyasan Kendra. Then we have Annapurna Food Court, which will actually have regional and traditional dishes from around this country, and the delicacies from around this nation will be there. And amazing to know that all these delicacies will have that sattvic element that we are trying to keep intact in our servings. Then we have outdoor immersive light and sound and water show, which will happen right in front of the Statue of Oneness, and Statue of Oneness, which will actually be a part of that entire laser light water sound show, which again is going to have amazing technological speciality in that laser light water sound show. So this was these were the components of Advaita Lok. Now I'll move on to the Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta, and that's Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta. So just to honor his 4 first disciples, all the 4 schools in the institute have been named after them. So Acharya Padmapad Center of Advaita Philosophy, and its architectural style is going to be Eastern. The Acharya Hastamalak Advaita Center of Science, the architectural style is going to be Western. Acharya Sureshwar Advaita Center of Advaita Center of Social Sciences is going to have Dravidian style, and Acharya Totak Advaita Center of Literature, Music and Arts will have the Northern region. Just as Shankara brought all the areas, all the corners tied in one, all the pearls, all the kshetras in one thread. It's our humble effort to replicate his footsteps in the institute. Then we have Maharshi Vedavyas Advaita Library. Then we have Acharya Gaudapad Advaita Extension Center. We have admin block, just as any other institution. And we have academic block. We have Gurukul here. The Gurukul is the most prominent feature of this institute. This Gurukul will be both for boys and girls, and it will be totally made up of the indigenous materials, stones, woods and bricks, and it will actually take you to the era of that Guru Shishya Parampara that we keep talking about all the time. Then we have a temple that's a replication of the Sarvagnya Sada Peeth. It's reimagining that beautiful structure and that beautiful seat of knowledge at this institute. Then we have an open air theater, an amphitheater, which is going to be used for cultural performances. We have sports and recreational areas. We again have meditation center here. We have a Yagna Shala. So this is Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta. It's going to train bureaucrats. It's going to train people who are actually living the social and public life day in, day out. How they can actually put the Advaitic concepts into practice is what we are going to do in the training center for this institute. Another important element that I missed upon when I was initiating this introduction of Acharya Shankar International Institute of Advaita Vedanta is that this institution is not just an academic institution. It is actually going to work as a collaborative agency, as a body of collaboration for an entire global academia and peace institutions. So this will actually be an extension of that. So I'll quickly take you through now to the uniqueness of this initiative. As in the very beginning of my presentation, I talked about how the man versus nature conflict is going on. The temperatures are soaring. And so we have an option here. We have a solution. In the philosophy of oneness, we talked about the philosophical part of how environmental issues can be tackled. But then Ekatma Dham initiative is actually a physical embodiment of that thought that I put in the beginning of this entire presentation. So Ekatma Dham campus is going to have 5-star Griha rating, which is energy efficiency rating. Then the complete Ekatma Dham campus will have zero waste and zero plastic. Whatever waste will be generated here will be treated here and consumed within the site. So that's what we have in mind right now. Ekatma Dham project ensures 10 times plantation, that plantation that I'd earlier talked about when I was talking about the site location and the different components of the initiative. It's going to have Advaita Vanam. It's going to have different centers, different places wherein plantation is going to happen. So 10 times plantation of the existing site. Then something that I mentioned earlier, about the indigenous building material. So in the Gurukul, in most of the elements of this initiative, we've tried to have indigenous materials, indigenous stones, and places, things and materials which are actually associated with places in this nation and which have high importance in this part of the world. So inspired by the vernacular traditional style of India's temple architecture, use of predominantly Nagar style, temple architecture, and the art and sculpture heritage of India. That's our humble effort to have, to preserve, to not just preserve, to actually keep it going, the heritage and art of India. So the finest quality of Bansi Paharpur pink sandstone will be used at Advaita Lok. And then in the institute, we'll be using black stones. So the Panchayatan temple is the symbol of spiritual oneness. The temple is built as per the Mandir Nirmana Shastra to ensure the purity of Nagar style. Sompuras, the family that is traditionally, that has carried out this responsibility traditionally, Mr. Virendra Trivedi and Mr. Vipul Trivedi are in the team of, having the Nagar style architecture in the entire initiative. To ensure the purity of the Dravidian style, we have Mr. Prasad Sthapati, and he's in the team to take care of every element that is related to Dravidian style. The Sharda Sarvagnya Peeth that I was talking about in the institute, it will be developed as the Sanskar Kendra for general public. So that's our idea. Now, moving on to the institute, again, the Advaita Vedanta Institute will showcase respective regional regional architectural style, and they'll be made in black stone and Dravidial style of southern India. So then we have an amazing seat of oneness, which is an open air theater, which will have which will be in the Vedantic institution, where people will come and take the oath of oneness, and it'll be recorded. They can share it, and we have amazing technologies to make that oath of oneness and other visual elements for that. Then we have the Gurukul that I was talking about, that I briefly mentioned earlier also, that will be made indigenously, and it will be an exact replica of the Gurukuls of the previous eras, and they'll take us, and there'll be a continuation of the Guru Shishya Parampara that we keep talking about. Then we have the Project Information Center, which showcases the impressive architectural style of Madhya Pradesh, the Chaussat Yogini temple of Mitavali. Some of you must have been there. The entire Project Information Center is the replication of that architectural style, that monument. So that was about the uniqueness of the initiative. There are a lot more points that I have actually missed out, but then it's just my humble effort to sort of bring together everything that I could. Then I'll move on on the body. This is a very humongous task that we have taken upon ourselves, and we'll need the grace of Shankar Bhagavadpad to carry it out. But the formal organization that takes care of this entire initiative, that serves for this entire initiative, is Acharya Shankar Sanskritik Ekta Nyas, Department of Culture, Government of Madhya Pradesh. It's a public trust that was established for the execution of this entire initiative. And the sitting Chief Minister is the ex officio chairman of the trust, and then we have Principal Secretary who subordinates him. Then I'll quickly move. Will move to the advisors and the patrons that we have.
Smriti ji, I just want to remind you we have 5 more minutes left. So
yes, I'll quickly just wind it up. So then we have, these are our patrons. As you can see, these are our guiding lights. It's their grace that we keep, putting in the initiative. So these are our advisors. They are all illustrious spiritual luminaries that we have, right from technology to engineering to spirituality. We have all people gracing us. Then I'll just quickly move upon the initiatives that the Nyas usually takes about year-round. Advaita Awakening Youth Retreat. It's a year-round youth retreat that till now we've actually covered 26 states. And as I just told you earlier also, that Advaita ambassadors or Shankardut are made out of this initiative. There's a process. Anybody from the age of 18 to 40 years can apply for it. And then the basic tenets of Advaita Vedanta through the Prakran Granthas, Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, are actually studied here with a Sattvic lifestyle. It's a typical 7 to 10 days camp. Then I'll quickly move on to Shankar Vyakhyanmala, which is an unbroken series of 66 talks, public talks on Advaitic concept. We've had spiritual luminaries like Sadhguru. We have had Sri Ravi Shankar. We've had amazing gurus speaking at Shankar Vyakhyanmala. It earlier used to be a physical event. We've done, during COVID also, the entire series was unbroken. So that's Shankar Vyakhyanmala. You all can anytime listen to any Shankar Vyakhyanmala on the YouTube channels of Ekatma Dham. Then we have Shankar Sangeet. This is our another humble effort to celebrate the compositions, the poet that Adi Shankara was. So we are trying to have classical Indian music and dance, and to teach the philosophy of oneness through dance and music. Then I'll move on to the next component, which actually is the feature film that I was previously talking about at the Advaita Lok. It's a full-length feature film on Shankara, which is based on his life and philosophy. The film will showcase the illustrious journey of Shankara, the prodigal child, who later became the greatest unifier of humanity. The film will be premiered at theaters worldwide, and it is actually be directed by one of the finest directors of this country, Ashutosh Gowarikar ji. So that's about the film, and that's a long format, and the short format of this film will be showcased at the Advaita Lok Theatre. Now we have Shankar Fellowship. We all know the scholar that he was. So to honor his legacy and to continue his knowledge and his wisdom, we actually give away Shankar Fellowships to senior scholars who are Advaitic scholars who are actually researching on the concepts of Advaita in the contemporary world. So that is Shankar Fellowship for the year 2021 and 2023. Then I'll just quickly rest my entire, presentation in these two lines. As Acharya himself said, Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktiresha, Brahmaiva Jiva, Sakalan Jagatcha, Akhanda Rupa Sthitireva Moksho, Brahma Dvitiya, Shrutaya Pramana. So the concise declaration of the conclusions of the Upanishads is this: Brahman itself is the Jiva and also the entire universe. The state of being fractionless is moksha, and Brahman is without a second. The Vedas are the authority for all these statements. So it's just my humble effort. I'll be closing soon. Before I close, I just want to thank all of you for having me here, and God and all of you to help me serve this entire humongous initiative. And in the end, I'll just quickly make an appeal to all of you that how you can join the journey of oneness. You can join our journey of oneness. You can actually follow all our social links and be updated by our website and other places. That's my submission, and thank you so much. Jai Shankar.
Thanks so much, Smriti, for taking us through this beautiful journey of Ekatma Dham, which is the combination of learning, praying, and being with oneself. We are all looking forward to coming there and participating and immersing ourselves in this experience. Viewers, we have many such interesting talks. Today evening at 7 p.m. India time, we have Swami Tattvamayananda talking to us about why Advaita matters in today's world. So please do join and benefit from this session. Before I leave, I'd like to say a closing prayer. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Bhukalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much and see you soon. Namaste.